So we've been dealing with cost, specifically what's it cost to hire an investment advisor, and ultimately what's it cost to hire a financial planner. Well, as we're dealing with cost, let's go ahead and deal with this. What's the average cost of hiring a business advisor? You know, one of the things that I'm passionate about, and I'm talking about deeply passionate about, is helping business clients reach their goals. I love it. The business is one of those things that I just get. It's easy for me to it's easy for me to assess other businesses. I can look at it and like reading an x-ray for many physicians, I can read the business details and know exactly what the business owner needs to do. Now, let me be candid and crystal clear. It's hard for me to self-assess myself. This is our baby, so to speak. Speaking of baby, our newest book, Your Baby's Ugly, is just a few days away from being launched. And I hope you're going to pick up a copy on Amazon. I've already recorded it for Audible, and it's going to be exciting. And you're going to see my view on business. The first book, The Ultimate Sale, dealt with how we prepare our business for the, quote, ultimate sale. Now we're dealing with how to make our baby, our business, beautiful. And to me, business advisors are vital to helping us beautify our baby, if I'm going to use that analogy. So much so that I've worked with business advisors myself for over about 3 years now in my own business. In our company, we currently engage a business advisor who has walked down the path that I want our company to walk down already. They've gone down this path, proved they knew how to navigate the storms, and they consult with us like we consult with our clients. So I think that business advisors help us break through to the next level in our business. But whenever we hire them, how much do they cost? How do they even figure out what they're going to charge us? So there's 3 basic ways in which business advisors are going to bill us. They're going to bill us by the hour. It's not uncommon, especially in the small business world, for business advisors to come in and say, hey, I'm going to bill you by an hourly rate. They're going to do 5 hours worth of service for you, and therefore they're going to bill you by the hour, the hourly rate. Some business advisors will do a project-based method. They'll come in for a specific project. I can remember it wasn't long ago that I was retained by a current client to help them on a particular project. It was a building project, and they needed help putting together the numbers, getting it to the bank, underwriting it with the board at the bank, and ultimately preparing the contractor to take this particular project. And this has been, 6-7 years ago. So we charged this individual for a project basis. And it was basically trying to estimate how much time I was going to spend on the project. So, oftentimes there's several stages in a project-based method. They'll do an assessment. There'll be some research. There'll be an analysis. They may do some drafting. Like in this case, I was having to draft an actual business plan in order to get funding. Then there was implementation that I turned it over to. And then ultimately there's evaluation. So there's about 6 different areas on a project basis that a business advisor may consider. Now, a new one that's coming into the small business world more and more is what's called value-based method. Now, we've often seen this in larger businesses. I've worked in this world of business now for, all my whole life. I've been a business owner, but actively watching and researching and watching consultants and learning more about them. And value-based methods was traditionally held for the middle markets. But now as I see the world evolving and technology is becoming more and more attainable, it's becoming more and more easy for the average person to use without having to have coding skill sets, we're seeing value-based methodology for pricing come into play. So value-based pricing is when you price a service based on the tangible and intangible value that the consultant creates for your company. So, for example, an intangible might be where, me as a CEO, I say, look, I hate doing these activities. I got to figure out a way how to get out of these activities. It's really not a dollar figure movement. Instead, it's a touchy-feely. You really can't quantify freeing up the CEO. So there's lots of studies done on how business advisors work. There's lots of studies done on business advisory in general. And we're going to cite a bunch of those in the actual blog, which accompanies this podcast. But I want to give you a couple of statistics that'll help us lay the groundwork for the latter part of this conversation. Here's one. 80% of consultants are actively looking to increase their fee rate. 80%. Let's just think about that for a second. As a CEO of a business consulting firm, I got to tell you, there's a lot of people who say they're business consultants, that don't know how to be business consultants. They've read something in a book, or they worked at a Fortune 500 company somewhere, and they know one little process, but it's often not applicable for small business owners. It may be applicable in Fortune 500 companies, but trying to take big business and apply it at the micro level many times doesn't work. And because of that, true business consultants, comprehensive in nature especially, are becoming fewer and fewer. So because of that, we're seeing that 80% of consultants are looking to increase their rates right now. Now, consultants who are specialists, here's another point, consultants who are specialists and make it clear in their marketing have higher average consulting engagement value, just like anything else in your own business. And we dealt with this when we went through the marketing segment of the value growth process. And you can actually read about this in the book that's coming out, Your Baby's Ugly. But those of us who hyper niche or focus on one particular persona, we actually end up making more. Now, business consultants make 25% more, with an average consulting engagement going between $20,000 per engagement to $100,000 per engagement. So consultants who are specialists are going to make more money than consultants who are generalists. Now, that's the same in everything for your business. Consultants who are specialists and make it clear have more than twice the consulting income and fewer clients you want to work with. Here's another one. We actually just had this happen in the office today. And I had this written out earlier this week as I was doing the research on this to get the points that I wanted. Only 33% of consultants are willing to lower their fees in order to win a client. Why? Now, if you compare that to the small business world, many small business owners will reduce their fee rate or their billing rate in order to win a bigger client. The consulting world is quite the opposite. It's actually almost inverse of what business owners do. The reason for it is we know as consultants our value. We know the training we have, and we can see how our advice will impact the client. We can see it. And so we realize that it doesn't do us any good to lower our rate. We know what we're worth. If you're really good at it, then you're going to get what you pay for. So how do we determine fees? How did consultants determine fees? Well, there's the market average. That's one methodology. So there are market averages within every particular industry. In the world that we operate in with Heritage Business Advisors, we focus on value growth. And there's actually market averages for business owners who work specifically with value growth companies. There's market averages out there for that. So that's one way to determine the fee. Oftentimes whenever someone gets a fee from the consultant, they've not looked at what the market average is for that particular consultant's intellect, industry, the qualifications, etc. So check out your market averages for the consultant that you may consider hiring. Another way that they can determine a fee is the expected duration of the consulting session. So sometimes you may have one-off calls where you buy a package of time and then you jump in and jump out and use it as you need it. Others are monthly packages or longer. So we have in our business, we go in and we charge an onboarding fee, and then we charge a monthly fee over a period of time. And then the monthly fee will often reduce at some point in the future whenever the business owners reach what they were striving to do. Our consultants that we pay them a monthly fee. And we have 3 virtual meetings per month, and they're hour to hour and a half in length, so about 4 hours, let's say. But then if they come to location, it's an additional fee. So depending on the duration, the expectation, travel arrangements, etc., that's one way consultants will price their business. Another one is the projected business value. So what is the consultant's expected return on investment? Now, you'll often see this particular estimation in the value-based methodology. I would love to have the opportunity to do this at some point in the future. In fact, this is one of my dreams in business, is to be able to actually charge a value based on the return on investment we effect in the business owner's life. Many times, though, the business is not prepared for that. They are so out of whack, and they're so understaffed, and they're so, what we call EBOC is so out of range. Earnings before owner's compensation is so out of range. So value-based growth oftentimes doesn't work. But I know business consultants who come in and they say, look, I'm going to charge a minimum fee of $200 an hour, and I'm going to help you with this in particular thing. And if our return on investment is greater than X percentage, I'm going to share in that percentage rate. So I'll actually draw in a particular arrangement like that. Now, another one is the business package perks. This is a way that a business consultant will actually leverage a deal with you, the business owner, as part of being the consultants. Another way that business consultants will figure out their fees is they calculate their own self-worth. Now, this is pretty simple. How much money do I need to make? How many hours am I going to consult? And based on that, here's what the fee is going to be. And that's a simple calculation. Now, those consultants have to marry their expertise and their fee schedule along with somebody who's willing to pay for it, right? But that's one way they can calculate a business fee. And then finally, industry expertise. So this is where my passion comes in as a consultant who focuses on value, who focuses on helping business owners reach their personal financial goals using this business as a catalyst for that purpose. If we spent our decades, many of us, blood, sweat, tears, things that if we share it only candidly, other business owners who's walked down that path truly understand what we're talking about. If we spend our decades building up this business that we may call our baby, that our wives or spouse or significant others say is we're married to it sometimes more than they are, it's a shame to me that value represents 70-80% of our net worth, and we only have a 4% best scenario that we're going to be happy whenever we leave it. So those are the 6 ways that business consultants will determine their value or their cost. At this point, you say, man, Justin, I've never hired a business consultant. Let me challenge you to do that. Well, I don't need one. Touche. We all do. Because we can't see what we don't know to look for. Friends, I have seen hundreds, if not thousands of businesses. I've seen the financial statements. I've sat across the table. I've sat in the offices when the business owner is on their knees crying. How am I going to pay my people? I've experienced it myself. And I've seen so many business owners lose sleep at night because one of their team members are going through something that they can't help with. I've seen business owners go through legal battles, divorces, bankruptcy, infighting, lack of vision, just about anything you can think of. I've seen it. There's something to be said with somebody else's experiences, a far greater teacher than your own. There's something to be said about that, friends. My challenge to you is this. Find somebody that can help you get to where you want to be. If you don't know where that is, take a moment. Think about it. If you don't even know how to do that, reach out to us. This is what we do day in, day out. Monthly fees for business consultants in the small business space, it's not uncommon to see $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, $10,000 per month, depending on the size and the scope of the business. It's not uncommon. You're like, holy cow, that's like somebody's salary. Yeah, it is. I know, I pay this amount of fees in our own business. But what I've experienced and what I've seen so many other clients experience is that having somebody alongside who can challenge them and show them their blind spots and help them is far greater than the fee we've often paid. So friends, I hope that helps you. And if it does, do me a favor, share the podcast, share with another business owner out there. Let's spread the love, right? You know, the way the algorithms work on various platforms like iTunes or Stitcher or Spotify is the more comments, likes, and shares that happen, that particular podcast moves up in the rankings. So do me a favor. If this is helpful, if it made you think a little bit, pass it along to another business owner. Say, hey, I just heard Justin on the Financially Simple Experience, the Financially Simple Bizcast, go over this particular thought. I thought it was interesting. What are your thoughts? And see what your buddy or friend says. And then leave us a comment. One of the things that we've been looking at is the questions that are coming in from listeners. If you have a question, maybe say, hey, Justin, what do you think about this? write it out for me. Send it over to us through one of our social media platforms, or even on the financiallysimple.com blog. You can drop a question there, and we'll do our best to answer it for you. So, friends, I say it every week. Life is hard. It is. It is. I've seen a lot of heartache this last week. A lot of heartache. A lot of heartache. Life is hard. It is. But life is good. Man, we're so blessed. We're so blessed. And it can be frustrating, but it doesn't have to be. Let's continue to make our lives, at least, let's go financially simple. Y'all go out and make it a great day.